All right, welcome back, folks, to another 1v1 matchup. This time, a mirror matchup between Abbasid Dynasty and Abbasid Dynasty. That's how mirror matchups work. Why do you need to wait for that? Why were you kind of thinking I was going anywhere else with it? You know where else we're going to go to? The descriptions of these players, because we've got two high-level players in their respective games. Give You Anxiety, of course, is an Age of Empires 3 and Age of Empires Online player. He's been grinding it for quite a while. He dates back to 2017 in terms of playing those games. And, of course, Age of Empires Online, Age of Empires 3. These games don't really have a big competitive scene, so it's kind of a sad situation for a lot of these gamers, which is why I'm actually excited to see a lot of them come into Age of Empires 4, where I could see us getting a pretty cool ecosystem as time develops. Especially when you have people like Cypher sliding on in, not just to the DMs, but into the game. Cypher, for those that are unfamiliar with the StarCraft scene, is an Australian Terran player. I believe he's currently playing for Mindfreak, if I'm not mistaken. He's been in that game since about 2015. Already has about $50,000 in prize earnings, and I believe recently in the ESL Pro Tours he was ranked number 3 overall, which is a pretty impressive accolade to have on your roster. And you're probably sitting there going, well, he only got $50,000 though. It can't be that great, KP. But that's kind of the nature of the RTS market right now. The prize pools are a little bit minuscule. Hopefully, we start to see esport develop around this game so that these players can actually start to thrive and find a living. But let's get underway with the game, and let's see who's going to thrive in this one, as we have got Give You Anxiety in the red, we've got Cypher in the blue, and what on earth is the... What are these trade posts? Well, they won't have to go far to find them. In fact, I'm pretty sure they both see them, yep, right at the beginning. Oh, that's nice. So these funky trade posts mean you're going to have to run quite far away if you want to set up a trade route. I don't know if we're really going to see that out of Abbasid Dynasty in a 1v1 matchup. What we are going to see is them utilize all these fishing spots. This is glorious, actually. Just look at this. This is juicy. For those that don't know, docks cost half the price for the Abbasid Dynasty. You can see it there. It's only 75 wood as opposed to 150. So he'll be able to get one out early and then start spamming fishing ships. So we'll see both of them likely prioritize this. It's a lot rougher for Give You Anxiety, though, because... yeah, this tree line. I was about to say, this looks like it's longer than it is. Because the tree line, he has to actually run around. It takes him a little bit longer to even construct. And I don't think he's going to be looking for that. Actually, if anything, from Give You Anxiety's perspective, he's probably seen this tree line and he doesn't even know that there's a little lake back here. You might assume there is one, but you don't know how far you got to run. He's already scouted to the south, so he will at least get his docks out here. But this is a little bit more exposed. It does give him a bit more of a forward point. And maybe he'll just do a kind of a quick island hop. Or well, lake hop in this situation, just go further for the additional lake down there. But I do like Cypher's starting location. There's just so much food available. Even in this tiny little place. Look at this. 3,000 food in this crappy little hole here. And then, of course, another 3,000 food. And then the big whammy, 7,000 food over here. This is the comparative for Give You Anxiety. So if he can find this lake down here, he's just going to be jackpot. Because there's 9 in there. The one he's setting up on right now is 6, which I think comparison-wise... yeah, Cypher kind of got ripped off on this back spawn here. It's just 2 fish locations, and if Give You Anxiety did find his one at the back here, he'd have 6 plus the deep water fish, which, remember, they do respawn over time. We'll have to see if he even spots that. Right now, just chipping in the wood line. There's probably going to be a lot of prioritizing on wood. Remember, in this situation, when you go for the water, you just need to ensure that you are grabbing enough wood to keep the fishing production up, and they'll sort your food. You shouldn't really have anyone but maybe 3 or 4 on food at the start to keep your villager production up. Speaking of which, one of these villagers might get sniped at this rate, and this is what I was worried about, right? When you have to go this far out from the town center, like, you're going to lose a villi. It looks like the scout's going to stop because that would mean diving, and he has got 3 sheep. It's risky, and if you die there, you just give 750 rather food over to your opponent, which is quite a juicy bone for Give You Anxiety to nibble on. But straight away into the barracks for him. There's already a barracks up for Cypher, and I believe he has already waypoint to start producing spearmen. So he might look to get some early harassment out, especially considering because the scout harassed this villager, and this is the reason he done it the whole time, is you can see Give You Anxiety was trying to wall in the dock here, which would have protected against an early raid from the spearmen. Right now, like, you haven't teched up on either side, so you haven't got any defensive ship to try and guard all of these fishing ships at this point. We'll have to see if anyone does go for who's actually going to get the better side of the quick tech up. There is plenty of food for Give You Anxiety. Holy crap. 9 sheep to work with. Not that he's really going to plow through them quick because, like we said, you're going to shift over to fishing and just keep producing these fishing ships. I think what Give You Anxiety would like to do is find a second lake just to set up another dock so he could have a safe eco while the front one gets harassed. Because you can already see the spearmen are moving across to try and harass the dock now. And he doesn't have any defense. It's not like he's Delhi. It's not like he's got an archer on his fishing boats. So until he techs up, this is exposed. And 10 damage each hit. If he spams out 6, 7, 8 of these spearmen, I feel like he might even burn down the dock before you're able to tech up and get a ship on the water to defend it. Second barracks now going up for Give You Anxiety. I like this identification by him. He knows already that he's behind in terms of spearman output, so he just needs to try and boost this to keep up, is basically the thought concept here. And the problem is, like, yeah, the scout won't keep the spearmen busy at all. You can't keep them off this. They've already taken 200 health away from it, so he really needs to get double production up, and he needs to actually maintain enough food to achieve that. And right now, with 5 fishing ships on the water, I feel like that's a good number where you should be able to sustain 2 spearmen. It just means that you might not actually have the ample resources required to go for a quick tech up to tech 2. Yeah, the spearmen just keeping it back. So now 2-on-2 spearmen. More spearmen being produced. They're trickling out, though, so this is where Give You Anxiety should be safe to take these fights. As long as he doesn't run a spearman in like that. No. Oh, no. Okay, so now he needs to get maybe 3 or 4 more out. This is actually going to give a buffer for Cypher, and he uses this opportunity, look, to actually go and build a secondary dock forward. So now he's going to actually get an eco boom a little bit stronger in the food production, because remember, he's already got way too many fishing ships, I feel like, for this this small area. But in fairness, one of these is a deep water fish point. So yeah, he's already got 7 fishing ships back here. He's going to be able to produce out of here. Compare that over to Give You Anxiety, who's currently sitting on 5 fishing ships, I believe it is. Yeah, 5. So he'll be able to just now produce a second line, maybe 5 more fishing ships in there. And then his food should be ample to support and sustain with like 2, maybe 3 barracks if he wants to. Or he'll just race for the tech up, while Give You Anxiety can't actually tech up at all because everything's being invested into a spear line. Spears are in. This is even Steven. So yeah, if Cypher just fights him direct, Give You Anxiety is going to be in a bit of trouble here. Yep, stab in. 1 goes down. Eventually, Cypher will win this out, but remember, Give You Anxiety can reinforce from closer, and he has double racks. So if he actually continues to just keep this pressure up, Cypher's going to be forced completely back. I imagine in Cypher's mind now, he's just considering a tech up. He's already started to get some people chipping away at the gold. And that'll be the advantage you'll have, because he forced this response out of Give You Anxiety. And when you see these numbers, Cypher should know that this has to be double racks. There's no way he built this with just 1 racks. Nice sheep stab. Say no to animal abuse, guys. All right, PETA's going to be on our asses if we keep seeing this on the channel. Stop killing sheep. Just resort to fish. No one ever seems to care about the fish. Nice surround. And focus fire's coming out. They almost get the scout, but it's going to be blocked out by the spearmen as they move away. He is reinforcing still. So there is a slight number of fights for Cypher, but the problem is, like we said, Give You Anxiety, he can just keep plowing out these spearmen much quicker. So this should just be the moment where Cypher tries to take somewhat of a defensive stance, just kind of poking and prodding occasionally. I like the way he's reorging his boys. Look at this. So he forced the injured ones to the back so that he was able to trade favorably. And as a result, Give You Anxiety loses 2, and he only gets 1. While they are getting injured, there's no doubt that Cypher is doing the better micro here. And what do you really expect out of a StarCraft 2 player, especially one that was so highly ranked? In the meantime, Cypher, yep, he's actually built his House of Wisdom. And look, Give You Anxiety still hasn't built a House of Wisdom yet. It's 50 wood, right? I'm pretty sure it was 50. Yeah, 50 to build, takes 30 seconds, but he hasn't got anyone doing that, which means now the House of Wisdom, with all these chained buildings, how close is he? Yeah, 1 away. 1 away, and then he's going to get the gather rate bonus, and that's what the bigger deal is here. More so than just going for the tech up alone, is the fact that he's already going to be out-ecoing Give You Anxiety, and if we look at the income per minute, you can see that already. They're matching on food, but everything else is definitely Cypher favored. And the spear spam continues. Once again, I think Cypher has the advantage here. Yeah, he's kind of focused firing down the right way. He's going to back up as he sees more reinforcements coming in. But his tech up should be there soon. Yeah, he's already on the way, halfway there. And it is going to be military ring as well. This is really interesting. So with a military wing, if he just gets 1 camel, he's going to give an armor buff to all the nearby spearmen. I believe it's +1, which is pretty significant in these fights when you consider that these troops do 6 damage each. That means they're going down to 5, right? So that's actually a sizable reduction of almost 20% of your damage. Tech up is almost there. Harassment continues. Once again, Cypher has the advantage because Give Young Zai, he didn't keep reinforcing at the correct rate here. So he's once again outnumbered. Every time in these micros, though, Cypher is just ripping him apart. That's going to be 2 more reds falling before they even get their way through a blue because they're not prioritizing the super weak ones. Look at this, guys. 4 health and just hasn't been touched. Wow. And there's the other expansion. We were looking for this. Finally, it's going to come out. Give Young Zai did find the other dock placement, so he's going to have this secondary access to fish. There's a decent amount here. I think there's 4, and then there's a deep water fish supply. So it's not too bad, but he's already behind in terms of that eco. He has now got the food, he hasn't even got the food required to tech up, by the way. This is like Cypher just booming. He has 950 food, and he's going to get ready to spend it now with the tech up. In fact, I'm kind of curious if he just goes for another tech up. I feel like that might be a little bit too greedy, but with this amount of food intake, and if he ups the gold, he could potentially do that. But he's going to be forced to get involved in the military aspect because there's already now 10 spearmen out to the 8 because he slowed down his production. But immediately, look at this. That is a quadruple archery drop. And with these archery ranges, he'll be able to rip Give Young Zai apart. Because remember, Give Young Zai still hasn't teched up. He's beginning it now, but he's going eco wing because I think he knows he's behind. It should be quite obvious when you already see the tech up. But more importantly, that means that with just one camel, if he gets a camel out with these armies, they're just going to be buffered against any of these trades, right? Like, they're going to have the advantage. They're already going to, in theory, have the advantage because he can easily... In fact, did he already? Yeah, he did already. I was about to say. It's sometimes hard to tell if he actually upgraded to the Hardened Spearman with some of these factions, but yeah, you can see it now when they pull away. There's a little bit different. So now that he has Hardened Spearman, he trades better. It's 8 compared to the 6 and 20 extra health. So you can just keep producing a small front line and then just spam out archers. And he is going for the Camel archers. Remember, they get the bonus against Spearman. So Give Young Zai, like we said, is going to be a huge disadvantage because of this. This is the interesting part about the Abbasid dynasty matchup. It's like usually we talk about, you just get an archery range with any side and it's a counter spearman, but it's a very static counter, right? You can't just run them down. But these camels are absolutely vicious. Remember, they move at 1.62 tiles per second, which is the same movement speed as a Royal Knight compared to the 1.25. So the moment you see this army coming and you start to run away, you're probably going to lose half your forces in the retreat. 2 camel archers, I think, is enough to slay... probably 3 of these guys on the retreat. Remember, Camel Archers, I think is it plus 20? It's pretty high. So they do 10 base. Watch this. Boom. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Look at this damage, right? Straight in. He's basically taking them... Oh, my God. So he's doing like 30 damage each shot. Yeah, I was right. It is. It's plus 20. I couldn't quite remember the number at first. Yeah, it's plus 20 damage that he's doing per shot. So it's 30 damage for each arrow to these spearmen. These spearmen that still haven't even been upgraded once. Not that it would really help them much. It would give them 20 extra health, but they just get minced so quickly. And now look at the move forward. He's even got some casual archers to try and fire on the fishing boats. This is really cool as well, because remember, fishing boats have no range resistance, which means this pitiful 125 health can get melted through pretty quick by a ranged army. Once again, Give Young Zai, what's the move here? He's actually going for the eco boom. This is ultra greedy when you're about to be pressured outside your base. If Cypher realizes this and pushes forward, you're in trouble. And because he's got these forward outposts, he's probably going to feel confident to move into your base because there should be a flanking attack. Like, there's these 1 or 2 pitiful spearmen, but you can't even do anything with them. If anything, they're just pseudo-scouts at this point. If they run into the base, they just die. Spearman scouts out. This is also another thing. Give Young Zai, like, he has this scout out for a 3rd dock location, but like, he's so split in terms of how he's ecoing. His town center is the focus. He can't really afford to push forward now. If anything, he needs a defensive line. You can already see that now that he's tech 2'd up, he is trying to match on the archery range spam, but he has to go for the cheaper archers because he can't afford to try and match the camel archers when he's already behind. And I prefer this move. Honestly, if you amass enough archers here, remember what we talked about? The advantage of camel archers is that they're a dynamic harassment tool, whereas archers are very static. Because he's on the defensive, he should be able to get the eco value out of his military here in terms of just archer spam. But he needs to be ready soon because his Villi line is exposed. And straight in they go. 2 already down. Should get a 3rd. Nope, needed 1 more hit. Won't be able to find it. So he will back up for the moment. But keep in mind, Abbasid Dynasty, they have access to the battering rams. Kind of a ridiculous factor, right, is that they can build these straight away. They don't actually need to research the tech in a blacksmith's. And we might see him use that very soon. Right now, in terms of wood, he has enough for 1. I think he's likely to save up for double battering ram before committing and then just go in for this TC because he has now scouted out, and there it is. The moment you see your opponent is on a second TC, you know your eco is much stronger. So you can afford to just invest in these battering rams and not be at a disadvantage numerically in these military fights. I also love how he stopped at 2 Camel Archers. So remember, like, these guys are getting the Camel support right here, which enhances their armor by 1. And he's not investing anything past that. So simply just to get the buff. And because there's 2 of them, it's annoying to snipe them out because remember, these are 175 health each. He can easily sit them at the back of the formation as well because the AoE is reasonably sizable, as you can see here from the Camel support. And he doesn't even try and snipe them out. This is the problem. He has to snipe out the Camel Archers because otherwise these trades are definitely not going to be in his favor, even in his own base. 29 Archers to the 23 that Give You Anxiety has. And he chases the whole Villi line away. 35 villages right now are not collecting wood. And Give You Anxiety has really got no wood in surplus right now. He's got 40 spare. He finally gets a bank off for 203 as he builds a new lumber camp further back. But this TC is going to be sacrificed before it can really achieve its full value. Camel Archers are exposed. One goes down. He sniped the other one, but now he needs to get away. That was a nice move by Give You Anxiety. It pushes back against Cypher a little bit, but now he needs to get on repair duties. And the distraction might be good enough that he can get Archer advantage now if he focus fires. He's not splitting attention, though. They're just doing the 1-by-1s. Backing up now. 26 against the 23. The battering ram will get through the TC, but now these Archers need to retreat because they will lose this engagement. A few more might fall on the retreat, but remember, that is huge damage done to Give You Anxiety's base. As Cypher, he was the one offensive here. He's the one whose eco is booming and being completely unharassed. And I don't think he's gone for a second TC yet. So now they're on even grounds again. In terms of economy, it's Cypher up at 65. Give You Anxiety is at 57. So even after building that second TC, he's still behind. And now these Archers, like we said, they will lose out. It's just inevitable after that trade that you're not going to be able to keep up the numbers. He does get the battering ram away. Not that it would be too harassed in this situation. Remember that you're talking about an Archer spam army, so there's no spearmen involved. And in fact, the Archer spam continues. He hasn't invested in any spearmen anymore. Understanding that, you know, he has to counter the Archer spam with his own Archer spam. Spearmen, of course, have bonus damage against them from ranged units from the Archers. But yeah, he'll have a few forward spearmen, and then once again just renewing the Archer army. He has choked off any value out of these fishing ships, by the way. This is quite the hefty investment that's just been sunk. And I love the cocky move. Cypher's like, yo, this is my dock now. This is my pond, all right? There are plenty of fish in the sea, but you can have none of them. Harass comes in, but Outpost is down. And Reinforcements in. The Camel Archers are here again. And look at the range on this buff. This is what I was talking about. It's huge. You don't even need to expose your Camel Archers to get the good trades because you've got the armor value up. And he's going to try and kite up and move away, but Give You Anxiety is going to be forced to engage. Goes for the Camel Archers. Once again, has to waste so much time just bursting through them. He might get them, but even if he does, the trades are just not going to be good. These two split groups of Archers from Cypher are focusing different targets and just burning through them quickly. And now with the Camel Archers gone, he could begin to trade well, but he knows he's outnumbered currently. He's running new Archers in, but they're waypointed here. He's going to lose 2 or 3 on the retreat again. Once again, just getting pushed back. Cypher, his eco once again just still looking better. I mean, the food increase over Give You Anxiety is crazy here. Over double the food going into the hands of blue compared to red. They're even on wood at least because there is a ridiculous amount of villagers working this wood line. But gold, there's just still none for Give You Anxiety. He's actually locked in on the second age and he knows it. Which means if Cypher wants, with this sort of food income per minute, he could easily just quickly look to just tech up to tech 3. And if you do that, this game is all but over because at that point, of course, you can upgrade to the Vet Archers and with the Camel support as well, these trades are just phenomenal. Keep in mind, the reason why there's been no Camels out of Give You Anxiety, by the way, is because he didn't research that wing. I don't know why I keep saying ring. He didn't research that wing, remember? He went for the Eco Wing, so he can't get access to the Camel support that would give all of his troops extra armor. And this wraparound. Well, this is interesting, actually. Give You Anxiety, will he clock this as soon as he runs out and sees no army? In fact, Cypher doesn't care about going for the base. He's coming back for the main fight. He knows he's got numbers. He can see he's got the number advantage. And he's forcing an engagement, and this will be a bad engagement for Give You Anxiety. Remember, vision is held on the high ground. Yes, if there was no outpost here, they wouldn't see you, but they see you under vision, which means that Give You Anxiety has to back off. And Cypher now, with a battering ram at his disposal, will look to push forward into the base. 55 archers. And this is getting impossible for Give You Anxiety to keep up with because, like we said, he doesn't have the same eco. He's trapped in one pond. That's really all the ways that he's getting food right now. Once again, Camel archers just giving that armor boost, and he just moves them back. He understands this time. He keeps one alive. He almost gets sniped, and he's baiting him out. Give You Anxiety clicked on the archer. He knew how important it was, and he's going to lose his army. And that should just be GG because this army is far too big for Give You Anxiety to deal with. And Camel archer, Camel power, guys. You play Abbasid Dynasty, you use those camels. Once again, military wing is the difference.